Hello guys, and welcome to my desktop. Now, as you may remember a while ago, long time ago, I did a OBS tutorial. See, we got our trusty buddy OBS over here recording this video. But today I want to show you guys a new way, or not new, but a different way to record your video game footage, stream it, capture screenshots, yada yada. Now this is Nvidia Shadowplay. This is only available through the Geforce experience to people that own a Nvidia card. Only specific Nvidia cards. Like right now I have a GTX 1070. I believe what you need is a card that has the X at the end. Now let me show you how you access it. There's two ways to access it. Number one, you hit Alt-Z and it will bring this up. Just as an example, Alt-Z and it comes up. It may lag a little bit while it's launching originally. Another way is to go into the Geforce experience, which is usually running by default. Once you get the Geforce experience opened, it's, I believe, yeah, it's this one right here, open in-game overlay, and there you go. Now, this software is not as extensive as OBS, so rather than give you a compressed tutorial, I'm just going to go through all the options to show you how to do everything that you may want to do or need to do. Everything with this has some shortcuts, which we'll get to later, but basically over here, this is all pretty much irrelevant, but I mean, like, you want to take a screenshot? Bam! I just took a screenshot of my desktop. Photo mode, yeah, this is really, like, specific as to you using a certain game with a certain engine, I believe. Yeah, I wouldn't care about any of this, honestly. But this is the settings menu, and while there's different ways to get to recording and streaming, let's just go through it here first, and I'll show you the simpler ways later. This is connect. This is just how you connect to random social media. It like lets you auto post videos to like Facebook and yada yada. I wouldn't really use this. This is the HUD layout. It lets you change where certain things are in your recording or stream. So if I had a webcam on, I could enable it here and decide which part of my screen it's going to be on. Yeah, and then change the size of my webcam so I can be real tiny, or like, well, still kind of tiny. Here's a status indicator. This is actually only visible by you. This just kind of lets you know, hey, I'm recording. It's actually a little obnoxious, so I like to turn it off, but if you like having an indicator that you are recording, this is the way to go. This is an Fps counter. This is also an indicator like this, so you don't really need both. This tells you how much FPS you're having in a game. This one shows 60. This one might tell you the actual FPS on the recording, which is only ever going to be like 30 or 60 with this software, and I'll show you how to set that later. This is just basic, like you setting where your files go. It's up to you if you want to fuck with this. Shortcuts. Now this is so right here we have the shortcut screen. This is where you can set pretty much everything you need to kind of run this smoothly without fucking with all these menus. It comes with a bunch of presets, but you can pretty much change these to your liking, and I would recommend sorting through them. And now broadcast live. This is for those of you that want to stream. You can pick exactly what you are streaming to, Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube. These are the only things it allows. You need to have this enabled first off to even use it. I don't know why you can enable and disable it. It's like it should just let you use it or not. Pick a quality, has 3 little presets in case you just don't understand what quality is. It lets you choose your resolution. Caps out at 720. So this doesn't allow you the biggest amount of freedom with the quality of your stream. And a maximum frame rate of 30 FPS for streams. Oh wait, no, that's actually just for Facebook. Okay, so you can switch these and you can get some more options. Facebook just sucks, apparently, is what we learned from this. And YouTube's the best, clearly. So here's where you would change your frame rate and, oh, beautiful resolution up. Twitch too? Yes. No, wait, I'm not on Twitch. Yeah, oh, fuck it. Well, 1080p is good enough, right? This is your bitrate, which you may or may not recognize me explaining in the OBS tutorial. Your bitrate basically determines the amount of data that you are pumping out per what you're doing. There's audio bitrate and video bitrate, but when it comes to streaming and recording, the most important bitrate is your video because it's also like the largest. For a stream, the more bitrate, the harder it is for people to download your stream and the harder it is for you to actually stream your stream, but the better quality. And this is also actually impacted by your frame rate. If you do go up in frame rate, same thing. You get more frames, but it gets harder to stream it and it gets harder to download it. I stream at 4.5 bitrate. Oh, you can't actually do 4.5 megabits on Shadowplay, it seems, but 4 to 5 is, I'd say, good. 4 is a pretty average layer, so you get some quality and it allows people to download at a reasonable pace. You go up, you get more quality, but less people can watch your stream. You go down, it looks like shit, but no one will want to watch your stream. You can also input overlays, which is kind of similar to on OBS, where you can put different things up on the stream. This is just limited though, because you can only have a couple of them, and they're very preset and not really changeable on the fly. Ingest Server, this basically just says, hey, where am I trying to connect to? Obviously, you want to pick someone somewhere close to you. I don't know why this is selected for me. I don't live here anymore. I don't think this auto detects, so you are probably going to want to change this yourself, just to make sure. Now, some games I believe actually have integration with the Geforce experience, because you can turn this on and it allows you to capture highlights into this folder, and how much in the way of highlights you want it to allow it to capture. Now this, you have no manual control over this. This is just like, oh, you got a kill in the game and the software knows, oh dude, we should take a highlight of like the 30 seconds around that kill. And that's what this will do. This is entirely unimportant unless you just like collecting little kill clips for yourself. And we go to audio, and this is actually a little important. This is where you can choose your microphone source, and more importantly for recording, beyond fucking with your audio settings, is you can change whether or not the audio is going to create a single track or 2 tracks. This means when you have your footage and you throw it into an editor, are you going to have the video track and 1 audio track, or are you like, and this audio track has your in-game and desktop sounds and your mic sounds in it if you're recording with this, or is it going to have 2 separate audio tracks, one from your in-game sound and one from your mic? And this is not entirely relevant because you don't need to record your mic through this. You can record your mic separately through something like Audacity, but if you want to record your mic through this would be the best way to do it. I recommend doing it like this, because if you do it like this, you can't edit your mic specifically. If you change the volume in the production of the mic, you're also changing the in-game audio. So if one's too loud, one's too quiet, you can't fix it. You need to do this. I would really recommend doing it like this. I would never recommend boosting your mic if you're doing it like this, because you can just change that after the fact. If you're doing it like this, boosting your mic might be good if you can test it and see that your mic comes through a little quiet, which a lot of them do. As a side note, I just want to include that if you do go with this option, because you are recording your mic through this software, it is going to default to the mic track in a lot of players, which would make the video sound silent. So don't worry, you haven't lost your audio. You just need to, in the player, change which track it defaults to, which is different per player, and this is not a player tutorial. Or if you throw this into an editing software, you'll see both of your tracks are there, and you won't run into that problem to begin with. And more onto the way of recordings, we have the video capture. And now we got a couple settings here, and I'm gonna start from the bottom. Of course, here's bitrate again. You could tell it what's the objective bitrate to record at. Now there's 2 types of bitrate, and I should clarify this because there is a constant bitrate and there is a variable bitrate, and Nvidia uses a variable bitrate even though it lets you set a constant bitrate. Now what that means is a constant bitrate is, okay, I set it to 20 megabits and I want you to record at 20 megabits this entire time. This is recording, not streaming, so upping it is not going to like kill your internet. It's just going to put more strain on your hard drive and maybe cause a little extra lag in game, especially if you pump it up. But this software is pretty optimized, so I wouldn't worry about that unless your hardware is just kind of shitty. But basically, a variable bitrate is going to look at the screen, look at how much light is on the screen, and the amount of motion that's on the screen. Because while bitrate is the defining factor of how good your video looks, it is arguably more important than resolution. You can have a 4K video and it will look like shit if you do not allocate the proper bitrate. But, you know, same goes vice versa. Where bitrate really becomes important is in movement, especially of brighter scenes. So what variable bitrate attempts to do is, if the scene's not that bright, if there's not a lot of movement, then we're going to cut back on the bitrate to preserve the size of the file so that you're not generating an omega fuck ton large fucking audio file like eat my hard drive space please. Constant bitrate does not account for the brightness of the scene. It does not account for the amount of movement on the screen. If you pick 20, it will try to deliver to you 20 megabits worth of data. This is optimal for quality, but it's not optimal for file space. Shadowplay uses variable bitrate. You are just setting the upper limit of which it can reach at its most intense moments. Keep that in mind. So I actually set mine to like 25 a lot of the time because I want to give it that extra slack. Because even then, the average bitrate of the whole file will usually end up being like 10 or 15. Although going beyond any of this is really unneeded because even 10 megabits is a kind of crisp, clear file on the side of YouTube or wherever you're uploading to. Here's where you can choose your resolution. You can pick it specifically, or you can just match the resolution in game. I personally don't see why you would need to change your resolution to higher than what you're actually playing in, but yeah. Of course, set your frame rate. Again, remember that will tax your system more, but it will look smoother. And this is just custom. You can also set these presets, high, medium, low. Yeah, you see, it considers 15 megabits low. High goes to 50. This is really excessive. This is extremely excessive. I would never do that. I would always just do custom and set it like around there, which medium does anyway. Instant replay. Now, this is not recording, and I'm gonna get to how you actually start recording and doing instant replay here in a moment after we get through these settings. This and the instant replay is essentially like you will be recording everything that's happening, but you're not going to save everything that's happening. You can save like, oh, I want to save every 15 seconds at a time. I want to save every 5 minutes at a time, or all these little time in between 15-second differences up to 20 minutes. Now, what this means is you will be recording, let's say if I set it to 10 minutes, once you reach 10 minutes of footage, every second it throws out another second of footage, so that you're only keeping 10 minutes, the most recent 10 minutes, at any one time. Once you hit that you want to save your instant replay, it will save those 10 minutes and start again from scratch where you are right there. It's a way to get clips, especially when you're not sure if you're going to get a lot of usable footage, without actually having to record like a 6-hour video, and then it turns out you only got like 10 minutes of usable content in there, and now you have to go render it and dig it out, and you have to maybe save this footage for later on, but it's this giant file. No, this is a way to kind of condense that and only get the usable things saved. Very neat feature. There's this notifications tab if you keep going down the settings list that will give you little nice notifications. You can read what these do. They go over things we've already talked about anyway. Privacy control. This is actually really important, especially if you are recording, or if you're playing something also that is not full screen. It might not even detect the game. So you need to come here and you need to turn on desktop capture so that it will capture the desktop. Like if I didn't have this on, you would not be able if I didn't have this on and I was recording through here, you would not be able to see what I'm looking at. It would only prioritize full screen applications. So I would recommend turning this on if you want to show desktop or games that are not taking up the full screen and not being detected, or turn it off if you don't want to accidentally Alt-Tab and then, oh God, my, social security number is my desktop background. Oh fuck, I just fucked up. I live streamed it to the world. Shit, But now let's get back to this main menu right here. So we've gone over these things, right? This is the simple way to access everything. And while I should have gone over this first, I really wanted to get the core of all these features out of the way. So we talked about that instant replay just now. This is how you can access it otherwise. Turn it on. You can go to that hotkey screen I showed you and set a hotkey to turn it on. So if I turn it on, it will, bam, look, it's now on. And now save, a hotkey to specifically save stuff. And as you see down here, I have little indicators that it's active. Actually, can you see that? Okay, no, you can't see that. I lied. I don't see it on my OBS. There's little indicators down here. Unfortunately, I can't show them to you because it doesn't let me see them. So as long as this is active, it will save whatever time you allocated, and then you can save that clip of that time period simply by hitting save after hitting Alt-Z and coming here, or by hitting your hotkey. If you do save 10 minutes and then it starts over from scratch for the next 10 minutes, but you get more usable footage within the next 40 seconds, if you do hit save, you're not going to save like the last 10 minutes again, because it's going to start from the last time you hit save. So you'll only actually save those 40 seconds, by the way. And then this is sharing for if you have integration, but assuming you're here to actually make videos, you're not going to care about this. And then that settings screen I showed you earlier, this is how you get here. For the video capture and the instant replays, they share the same. And this is one way to get to it. The other way is to come over here and hit this. Record, this is just for basic recording after setting your settings. You know, save, start, hit your hotkey, and it will record until you tell it to stop. Again, by hitting this button again after you started. I can show you. I start, stop, and save. Apparently, I can't stop and not save, apparently, but so that just saved a file. And then here's broadcast live. Simply, you can just hit start, the hotkey, settings. It will bring you to that setting menu I showed you. But I just wanted you to see how many setting menus these don't bring you to. It doesn't bring you to your hotkeys. It doesn't let you fuck with your HUD layout from there. It doesn't even tell you these exist. The privacy control is hidden at the bottom. That's why I wanted to show you this all first. There's also your gallery. This will bring you to the gallery of all the screenshots you've taken. And now these right here. So this is how we got to the settings. This is your microphone control. And of course, this can bring you to the audio settings where you can access this. This lets you change also the detection of your mic. Let's say you don't want it to pick up your mic. Maybe you're recording your mic somewhere else. Maybe your mic has a lot of background noise and you don't want it to be picked up. So you can turn it off. You can set it to push to talk, and then, oh, that's real nice. So to actually set the hotkey for push to talk, you're going to have to come into this setting, and then you're going to have to go to keyboard shortcuts, and where is it? And then right here under general, activate push to talk. Also down here, I noticed those overlays you can set. You can actually switch them on the fly, but only 3 of them. So you can have like a BRB screen, I'm eating screen, or fuck you screen. All of them look reset to defaults. But yeah, this is where you would find and set your push to talk. And even the way you open the overlay. And then here, this is for your webcam. Oh yeah, and also you can just set it to always on. So that's your discretion. This is where you would, if you had a webcam, you know, oh, turn on my webcam, detect it. Oh, I didn't shower today, turn it off, you know? Like this is other ways to do it. So you don't need to like unplug your webcam or face it away from you. You don't need to come to this HUD layout and then instead of, you know, like turning it off here if it was already on, you could just come here and turn it off. And same thing with your mic. And that's pretty much the whole tutorial. Like I said, it's a really simplistic, dumbed down software. It's supposed to be easy for anyone to use. A lot of these settings are buried in here because for most people, all you're really going to need is to just hit start, hit turn on and save, and that's it. Maybe hit start, but you will have to actually tell it what to stream to. It's a really simple, easy way to get into recording and streaming for anyone with a GTX Nvidia card that wants to get into making their own content or even just saving moments from their own gameplay with their friends. The reason we're doing this tutorial now is actually because in a couple days I am changing to an AMD setup. I'm getting new top-of-the-line gaming parts from AMD, and that's going to give us access to AMD Radeon Relive, which is their version of this. Although, from what I've seen, it is far more in-depth than this. If you guys would like to see that, or me do a tutorial on some other softwares. Like, look how many softwares I have back here, like fucking DVD Architect, fucking Vegas, Movie Studio. I have Fraps. I could teach you how to do Fraps. That would be a 3-second video. Bandicam hidden up here. If you want more tutorials like this, just let me know. I just wanted to get this out of the way before I lost access to actually using this, just so I could be fair and show both Nvidia and AMD users how they can record through a very simple software that is not as complicated as open broadcast software. Yeah, hopefully that helps you. Hopefully you like this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.